Well, greetings. This podcast is a recording for draft professors on how to use the summer scouting sheet. So this is actually being recorded on Draftmas Eve. So the draft day one begins tomorrow, if that's important to have a time signature in this. Okay, so I have the file open and now I need to share it onto the podcast so that you can see it. So this is the summer scouting team groupings sheet. There's a lot of tabs. I'm going to quickly go over what's on each tab. There's a good chance that you can't read the spreadsheet on the podcast, but we'll try to deal with that as best we can as we go through this. So first thing, there's an instructions tab. Essentially, the instructions tab is going over what each tab is. Okay? So the promoted player list is the most important tab. This is about what players to watch. So if you need an idea as to what players that you would watch, use this list here. Okay? This list may or may not be sorted. So if you notice, like there's a bunch of Alabama players at the top, Arizona. So it looks like right now somebody has sorted the sheet by the colleges in alphabetical order. I wasn't the one that did that. I don't care that somebody did. I'm just pointing out this is a good list for you to watch. Okay. So right now, as of April 23rd, there's 162 players in the list. I expect this list to have 300 players on it by August. So this is the promoted player list. This means at least one draft professor has watched the player in this list and said, yes, you also should watch that player. Okay. The instructions will even tell you in row one, that's what the promoted player list is. A draft professor has watched. Okay. Where do you get a list of players? So there's a checklist players tab. It's the next tab over. Okay. This is a drop from Mock Draft Database. Okay. And the ask of anybody going through summer scouting would be, identify your schools. Okay. So let's talk about how to identify schools. There's a team assignments tab. Okay. So if I'm Anthony Russo and I've got Mississippi State, Michigan State, Kansas State, and Georgia Tech, I would come over here and I would filter the schools on Mississippi State, Kansas State. I have to learn how to spell Georgia Tech. And I forgot what the other school was already. Team assignment. So there's Michigan State. Okay, so then we'll go and add Michigan State to the filter as well. Okay, so filter this list for your schools. So if you look, Anthony Russo right now, we don't have a lot of players listed at your school. So the schools that were assigned to you. So part of what we would be asking you to do during summer scouting would be, can you add more Georgia Tech players to the list, Kansas State, Michigan State, Mississippi State players to the list? Use your knowledge of the transfer portal, however else you do summer scouting. We're looking for this list of players from these four schools to increase. Okay, so that would be one thing we're asking you to do when you look at your team assignments. Okay, we're looking for you to review this list of players, and we're looking for you to add to the list. So if you're adding a player to the list, okay, just add them at whatever the next row is, add what school they went to, okay, and then add what position they play, okay. The green means it came from Mock Draft Database. The orange means somebody else added the player. That's all that means. So if there's no color there, that's okay. And then if you're adding them to the promoted players tab, type in yes here, and then take whatever player you added, go to the promoted player list, and paste that row there. So now we're up to 163. Okay. So that's what these tabs are doing. Those are the three most important tabs for summer scouting: the team assignments, the checklist players, and the promoted players. I will go over the other tabs just to give you an idea as to what's going to happen. Okay, so as I'm out communicating with more people to get involved with draft professors, I'm asking them if they would QA our player list in August. So what that means, midway through July, I am going to share the promoted player list at a specific position. So for example, wide receivers, I'm going to contact these two people. Cornerbacks, I'm going to contact these two. And I'm going to share with them everybody we have on our promoted player list mid-July and ask them, do you like this list? Is there anybody that you've watched that you would add to the list? We're not doing scouting reports. We're not even ranking the board. It's more of, can the people who are doing QA watch a game or two of the players and say, I do like your list, and here's somebody else that I watched that I think should be considered. So that's what QA assignments are. My goal is to have two people doing QA on every position. And you can see, there's a few new names there. I know Hayden, Breon, Jake, Peter are already in the group chat. But at the same time, like Eric Clark, I don't think he is in the group chat. I don't think Ian Valentine is, and I don't think Tel Holland is either. So I'm finding people who will work with us to QA. That's me helping market our product to new people. Okay. The summer podcast schedule. So this is in flux. The only person I've confirmed their date with is Brian. That's why he's green. So I know that Brian and I are going to be recording a podcast at the end of June. And that Brian basically said he needed time to watch players. So the people who I have early because I think you already have a board, which means that we can meet sooner, kind of thing. Or we can podcast sooner because you already have a board. And there's two types of people. Okay. You're either making a first appearance or you're making an only appearance. And I noticed a couple of changes there. So basically what it means is the only people that are making two appearances are Anthony, Brian, Randall, and Bill. Okay. So you see down here, they're making a second appearance. And part of that is reviewing any feedback I got from QA. And let's talk about this for a little bit. Okay, so we're building this huge promoted player list. The anticipation is this is going to be 300 players. If you were not part of Draft Professors in October and November, that's what we're going to call showtime. Okay, so Draft Professors, we're going to carve our stone out October, November, December. We're going to be podcasting detailed information on every single player that's in this list, assuming that when I met with Brian, Anthony, Bill, and Randall at the end of the summer, and if you notice, those dates overlap, and they overlap on purpose. The idea is, okay, if we're going to talk about, defensive line, and I think we can cover 80 defensive linemen, edge plus defensive tackle. The question would be, on the promoted player list, are there more or less than 80 defensive linemen? Okay, so a lot of that discussion at the end of summer scouting is, are there players that should be removed from the scouting report series that we do from October through December? So that's the discussion at the end. The people that are going to be steering that discussion are Brian, Anthony, Bill, and Randall. And those people were volunteered by me. So I didn't check with any of the four of them when I put their name down to do this twice. I just volunteered them. So if you want a second appearance, we'll do it the same weekend. And yeah, I don't mind more people doing this, but at minimum I needed 4. And basically I'm getting 4 opinions on who we cover for scouting reports. Okay, so this is the scouting reports position assignments. These are the schedule that I think that we're going with. And I believe right here, I'll have to go verify this. Chris Arrowhead Addict, and he's already there. So no, so I've got the wrong guy there. So we'll be filling in. If you notice, like there's a spot Friday, there's a spot Saturday, and then Parker's spot right here. I don't know which night Parker is. So we still have openings for 1, 2, 3, 4 podcasters, assuming everybody on this list comes back. And it's not a guarantee. I know several people in here are job searching, so there's no guarantee that everybody's coming back. So at minimum, we're still looking for 4 more podcasters. And if you want to do two nights, Friday night is your second night. Kind of thing. Okay. And then, yeah. So that's pretty much the end of the sheet. That is the summer scouting sheet. So if you have any questions on that, you can always come back to this recording. Maybe you're going to get sick of listening to my voice, but this was a 12-minute recording on how summer scouting should be done with the sheet and what we're asking for. Essentially, again, the summary is any player that you watch and like, add to the promoted players list. If you like them, that means that you're probably thinking that they have a draftable grade. They could be round 7. And to give you an idea, like last year, coming out of summer scouting, Isaac Tesla had a 7th round grade and we didn't do a scouting report on him. This year, coming out of summer scouting, even if the player has a 7th round grade, we'd probably want to do the summer scouting on them because we'll look better towards the end of the draft cycle in March and April if we've already covered the player on the channel. And I think we have enough podcasters to do it this year. So I don't think we're going to be stretched as thin, but at the same time, if you have opinions on that, tell me your opinions and we'll go from there. So I am going to close this out. We're 13 minutes in. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for contributing to Draft Professors. And I look forward to a very good and strong 2026 draft cycle. Thank you.